And welcome to Nationwide on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. My name is Ronke Kolawole. We're reaching you live from Abuja. President Muhammadu Buhari says his administration will continue to do everything humanly possible to make the country a better place for all Nigerians. When asked on his position on illegal migration of some Nigerians to Europe and other countries at a joint press briefing with the visiting German Chancellor Angela Merkel, the president says the country is against illegal movement of such persons, but will be ready to resist anyone caught in such situation back to the country. Chancellor Angela Merkel commends the president for his full cooperation with the German government in resolving the issue of illegal migration. She implores young Africans to take up the challenge of nation building by joining hands with their respective leaders. She says her country's resolve to keep supporting countries of Africa in the training of young people will continue and will impress it on them,
whether they are prepared for it or not. You must recall that about 6 weeks ago, we repatriated about 3,000 Nigerians that were stuck in Libya on their way to Europe. To us, this administration is very clear. We do not support anything illegal. And anybody who feels that his country does not value him, does not offer him what he should be offered as a citizen, and decided to defy the desert and the Mediterranean, he's doing it at his own risk. But if found stuck in Libya or anywhere between his final destination and Nigeria, we'll bring him back home and send him back to his local government.
She implores young Africans to take up the challenge of nation building by joining hands with their respective leaders. She says the country's resolve to keep supporting countries of Africa in the training of young people will continue and will impress it on them on the risk of embarking on illegal journeys. The three tiers of government have shared the sum of 714.809 billion naira from the Federation account as revenue for the month of August 2018. Chairman, Federation Account Allocation Committee FAC and Minister of Finance Kemi Adeosun announced the figures after the FAC meeting for the month.
Total distributable amount is 714 billion. 809 million naira, which is inclusive of forex equalization of 25 billion and is subject to a deduction of 25 billion to go to the excess crude account. So the excess crude account balance shall now be 2.332 billion. That a committee has been set up under the chairmanship of the Commissioner for Finance of Delta State to come up with rules around excess crude to ensure that we have a rules-based credit into the excess crude account.
Breakdown shows that federal government got 269.8 billion naira, state government 136.8 billion naira, and local government 105.5 billion naira. The minister also said progress has been made on the new template for distribution and that the next FAC meeting is proposed for Tuesday 25th and Wednesday 26th of September 2018. In the meantime, President Muhammadu Buhari is challenging stakeholders in the governing All Progressives Congress, especially in the southwest geopolitical zone, to do all it takes within the limits of the law towards ensuring that the party retains the governorship seat in Osun State. At a meeting with those that matter in the zone, the president emphasized the need for the success story of the APC to be maintained ahead of the 2019 polls. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
The interactive meeting is in furtherance of President Muhammadu Buhari's strategic engagement with critical stakeholders of the APC aimed at deepening and sustaining the change agenda for a better Nigeria. In attendance were Vice President Yemi Oshimbaju, members of the National Working Committee, governors, and National Assembly members from the Southwest and other chieftains of the party. everyone was there for one reason: the best way forward for the forthcoming Osun governorship election. And President Muhammadu Buhari believes that unity of purpose is critical towards achieving the objectives.
Once we express confidence in ourselves, we will proceed to work to achieve success. But if we maintain any division through whatever reason, then failure is guaranteed. May God protect us. Amen. We are going to be available at any time we are asked to come forward and campaign for our party, so that we will maintain our success story all over the country.
As we are confident of victory, as we are working hard for victory, we want to plead for your support in ensuring that that victory is not just a token one, it's massive and unprecedented.
Participants described the meeting summoned by President Muhammadu Buhari as well thought out, encouraging and reassuring.
The opposing parties have no way of beating us. We have successes to build upon. We equally are bringing in one of the most competent and qualified technocrats. So it's value for money.
All those aspirants who lost the election, they pledged their loyalty, they pledged their commitment, and they are part and parcel of the election campaign. I think that is very, very encouraging for us.
Our people know us, our people believe in us, our people believe in our party. That's the party for the future. That's the party of the progressives. And I want to say categorically that by the grace of Almighty God, we're winning the election. And that will be a foundation for the re-election of Mr. President on 2019.
Osun State governorship election is scheduled for the 22nd of September this year. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
And still on the Osun State governorship election, the Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, has appealed to governorship candidates in the election to shun violence and vote buying by adhering to the rules of the election. The IGP made this appeal during a sensitization seminar in Osogbo, where most governorship candidates were in attendance. Femi Afari-Ogun was there.
The one-day seminar at the instance of the Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, was to chart ways with stakeholders towards achieving free, fair, and credible gubernatorial election in Osun State. IGP Idris said the Osun election will serve as litmus test for the 2019 general elections. It disclosed that a Deputy Inspector General will coordinate the state, while police commissioners would be in charge of all the 5 area commands in Osun during the election. The police boss who defended the deployment of 30,000 police officers to Ekiti State election said the numbers of officers for the Osun gubernatorial election will be based on intelligence report.
I can sense the peacefulness of this state, and I believe it's a sense of appreciation of the conduct of all of us in this place. I want you to continue to ensure that the coming election is going to be peaceful and reliable.
Stakeholders all agreed that there was no need for violence in the coming election.
This is what the generation and the generation here upon wants to see over us. Power is not by force. It is only God that grants power. The police are very against that very difficult to play.
We want to have free and fair election, and they've actually explained what is going to happen on the 22nd of September.
What we are taking away is renewed confidence in the impartiality of the police force.
The seminar was themed Imperativeness of Police Collaboration with Essential Stakeholders Towards Secured, Free, Fair, and Credible Election in Osun State. In Osogbo, Femi Afari-Ogun, NTA News.
In the meantime, the Nigeria Police Force says 8 police commissioners will be deployed to the 8 area commands in Osun State to supervise security arrangements ahead of the Osun State gubernatorial election and not a commissioner of police to each local government, as it has been reported in some sections of the media. A statement by the First Public Relations Officer, Jima Moshood, indicates that Inspector General of Police Ibrahim Idris stated this during a one-day seminar on imperativeness of police collaboration with essential stakeholders towards securing free, fair, and credible elections in Nigeria held on the 30th of August 2018. The statement advises stakeholders and the public to discountenance the report. The statement further implores the media to amend their records as the police will continue to hold the media in high esteem. The Not Too Young to Run movement has distanced itself from Senate President Bukola Saraki's declaration to join the presidential race. Convener of the group, Samson Itodo, in a statement published by some Nigerian daily, said it only invited Saraki and other chieftains of the People's Democratic Party to a town hall meeting as part of efforts to ensure that youths are given some concessions ahead of the 2019 general elections. The statement said the group was, however, shocked when Saraki seized the opportunity to declare his presidential bid, thereby compromising the event. Also, members of the All Progressive Congress, APC in Bauchi's Central Senatorial Zone, have rallied in support of President Muhammadu Buhari and Governor Mohammed Abubakar in Misau local government area of Bauchi State. Mahmoud Ibn Muhammad reports.
As the 2019 general election draws closer, politicians in Bauchi State are positioning themselves for electoral victory. Frontline members of the All Progressives Congress from Bauchi Central Senatorial Zone that consists of 6 local government areas organized a rally for President Muhammadu Buhari's re-election bid.
Assuring Mr. President, we're assuring the APC that we're intact. Inshallah, who comes 2019 elections, they will see wonders more than what they have seen in the last 2015 election.
To show the strength of APC in the district. And of course, to show our support for Muhammadu Buhari and MA Abubakar.
Party stalwarts are confident of the chances of APC to return President Muhammadu Buhari and Governor Mohammed Abubakar in 2019.
It's disappointing for a senator that has been elected on the platform of APC in Bauchi, precisely Bauchi Central, the home of APC, to defect to another political party.
We are touched when Isa Hamma conducted a rally. He hired a crowd. He came to Misau and had a rally. And that prompted us to come out with our genuine APC supporters that voted for him in 2015 to denounce him. He is no longer relevant here.
If you come to compete Buhari in Bauchi Central, you will not be recognized. If you come to compete Emir Mohammed in Bauchi Central, you will not be recognized. These are only candidates, presidential and gubernatorial.
They, however, observed that despite the defection of some of the state legislators in the National Assembly to the opposition, the APC will never be distracted from delivering on its campaign promises to Nigerians. In Bauchi, Mahmoud Ibn Muhammad, NTA News.
And still talking politics, following the 6th National Executive Committee NEC meeting of the APC held in Abuja, the party is resolved to adopt direct election for its presidential primary. This was affirmed by some chieftains of the party on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria while discussing the fallout of the NEC meeting. Abdulsalam Jibril will bring us that report in the course of this bulletin. We hope so. And you're watching Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. We now go on commercial break. More reports when we come back. Glad to know you're still watching Nationwide. Dialogue on birth registration in Nigeria as some Nigerians return from Libya. Dotun in Lagos will tell us more. Hello, Dotun.
Thank you, Ronke, and welcome to Lagos. Lack of awareness on the importance of birth registration in Nigeria has resulted in low and improper capturing and subsequently poor planning for children in the scheme of things. Experts at a dialogue organized by UNICEF and the National Population Commission advocate increased media campaign to drive demand for birth registration services and enhanced knowledge on the benefits. Joy Ken Abakbuya has details.
Statistics by the National Demographic and Health Survey shows that Nigeria has the largest population of unregistered children at birth in Africa, with more than 60% of newborns still not registered. This year, birth registration for children under 1 year is only 32%, while under 5 is 8%. What this means is that the unregistered children do not have official identity, making it difficult for government to plan for them.
30% of under 5 children are registered, meaning that if we are giving birth to 100 children, we're only registering 30 of them. And this is not good enough for national planning.
This meeting is therefore to discuss the benefits and challenges and engage the media on workable solutions to ensure that birth registration campaigns and processes yield achievable results.
The level of coverage for now is not encouraging yet. We have not gotten to where we want to be. There's going to be a renewed collaboration with the health centers so that we will train some of their personnel that will be engaged in birth registration.
The enlightened public, they say, must be involved in the campaigns that should begin from homes and communities across Nigeria. Birth registration is a mandatory requirement for every child born in Nigeria, and it is to be issued by the National Population Commission. In Lagos, Joy Ken Abakbuya, NTA News.
Experts have continued to stress the need to educate and create awareness on the importance of a credible credit system without which any economy cannot expand. According to them, no economy can grow on the basis of cash system alone. So, Nigeria must imbibe the credit culture. This point was highlighted by the Registrar of the Institute of Credit Administration, Professor Chris Onalu, when he led some of the administration's council members on a courtesy visit to NTA Network Center, Lagos. Nenrot Nina Musa reports.
The visit was aimed at soliciting for partnership with the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, which, according to Professor Chris Onalu, is a premier broadcasting institution that has upheld the integrity and culture of the nation through its content. He urged the NTA to help disseminate and enlighten the populace of the credit system through which people can live within acceptable standard, just like in the Western world.
Your partnership is critical to our institute. Credit is eventually becoming an thing in Nigeria. It's not as renowned as we have in other developed countries. We need your collaboration. You are a national broadcasting organization, and it is the finest place for us to come.
You don't see anybody in UK carrying his hat and cash to go to that I want to buy a house, I want to buy a car, or even furniture and electronics. And that is why the economy could grow, because it has a multiplier effect on the citizenry.
Zonal Director, NTA Lagos Network Center, Pius Oje, who is also a fellow of the administration, expressed optimism that the partnership between NTA and ICA will be of utmost benefit to both parties.
It's purely a credit economy they are operating out there because it adds more value to the system. That is what the institute is all about, and that is why they came to NTA, for us to assist them in spreading it out.
The Zonal Director, Pius Oje, and the Assistant Director, News, Cordelia Okwoma, were presented the administration certificates as fellows. In Lagos, Nerot Nina Musa, NTA News.
Update of voter registration as we join Fatai in Ibadan for details of this and more.
Thank you, Dotun, and welcome to Ibadan. Oyo State government declared this Friday as work-free day to allow civil and public servants here to register, partake on the last day of the continual voter registration exercise in the state. Osolowuru went on town to observe the situation in Ibadan.
some eligible voters making last-minute effort to get registered or collect their PVCs. Throughout the period, many could not register due to one factor or the other, while some complain of misconduct on the part of INEC officials and inadequate facilities to register. Many turned out at the registration centers, yet find it difficult to maximize the opportunity of a work-free day.
The crowd is too much. I was so shocked. I don't even expect as much as this.
I utilize the public holiday, but I've not been able to collect my card up till now.
Right from the start, it's always been this rowdy. There has not been any organization. I don't know how they can go about it or put more.
At point in time, we have to suspend it to be able to produce those who have been registered. And of course, afterwards, we will have to continue. So, for the people that have not been able to, carry out their registration within this period, they don't have anything to fear. They should hold on till after the 2019 general elections.
The exercise is being suspended after today to allow INEC prepare for the 2019 general elections in Ibadan. Busola Uwuru, NT News.
We have to disengage from Ibadan owing to the poor audio quality. Moving on now, 500 women have benefited from a microeconomic empowerment program of the wife of the Bauchi State Governor, Hadiza Mohammed Abubakar. The intervention is one of the several activities of the governor's wife and NGO. Zainab Agbola completes the report.
B-Sweep was founded 4 years ago by Hajia Hadiza Muhammad Abubakar with the aim of enhancing women's welfare in Bauchi State through empowerment and promotion of financial independence. Hajia Hadiza Abubakar says women constitute the highest population of people living in poverty, as most of them rely on husbands and other family members for survival. As such, the need to support them becomes necessary. She adds that healthcare services will not be left out, as pregnant women, breastfeeding mothers, and malnourished children also form the focus of the initiative.
Women who are engaged in small businesses, like those that are engaged in producing masa, osei, groundnut oil, grinding, small entrepreneurs. We have supported them with a package of 10,000 naira to support and strengthen their capital, to enable them continue with that business and sustain it so that they can be useful to themselves and to their families.
Special guest of honor at the occasion, Bauchi State Governor, represented by his deputy, Aldo Sule Katagum, comments efforts of the governor's wife in harnessing the potentials of women towards nation building and assured of government support to B-Sweep to enable it achieve its goals. Other speakers admonished the beneficiaries to invest empowerment into their various businesses to grow them into prosperous ventures that will be celebrated one day. Beneficiaries also advised the women folk to venture into small-scale businesses to support their families. Highlight of the occasion was presentation of cash to beneficiaries and cultural display. In Bauchi, Zainab Agbola, NTA News.
Traditional rulers in Edo Central Senatorial Districts have praised the commitment of Governor Godwin Obaseki towards changing the fortunes of Esan people. They made their position known after an emergency meeting at the Palace of the Onoji of Opoji, and Vice Chairman, Edo Council of Traditional Rulers, Calvin Evonoaye, reports.
The meeting was used to deliberate on issues affecting Esan people and appraise the development in the district. At the end of the deliberations, the traditional rulers commended the governor of Edo State, Godwin Obaseki, for his developmental stride across Esa land. The vice chairman of Edo State Council of Traditional Rulers, His Royal Highness Aidonuje Hidiame IV, spoke on the essence of the meeting.
On the way forward for the Esan people, and the unity of our traditional brothers. We have been getting our stipend as of when due, so we commend the state government and we're giving him full support.
Other traditional rulers commended the governor for giving traditional institutions in the state his pride of place and urged him to sustain it. The traditional rulers also used the opportunity to dispel the alleged invasion of his land by henchmen.
We also want to commend him for the developmental project he's doing in this land. Like in Lagos, for instance, as I speak to you now, that road is passable.
The meeting had in attendance the traditional rulers in Esaland, in Opoji, Kelvin Ewunwaye, NTA News.
In another news making the headlines, an automation call center of the Citizenship and Business Department of the Federal Minister of Interior has been inaugurated by the Minister of Interior with a call on Nigerians and non-Nigerians, particularly the business community, to take advantage of the center in line with the federal government policy on the ease of doing business. Marjanatu Adam Said has that report.
There was an attempt at automation several years ago which failed completely. And I said we must resuscitate that attempt.
The Citizenship and Business Department is one of the main pillars that will assist in the operationalization of the released executive orders on ease of doing business in Nigeria. The idea is to make things easy and for easy accessibility and to facilitate the ease of doing business in the country.
It's part of our contributions towards the implementation of the presidential order on the ease of doing business. The government wants to encourage individuals and institutions and organizations to invest in Nigeria.
For almost 3 years, the dream that has turned into reality has been an issue of concern to the Minister of Interior. Now, with the availability of funds and manpower by the federal government, the edifice is expected to manifest into an easy avenue for those wanting to do business with Nigeria. In Abuja, Marjanatu Adam Said, NTA News.
In other news, more funding for the criminal justice sector and collaboration between the sector, civil society organizations and the media have been pointed out as some of the factors that could help in curbing transnational crimes and promote rule of law in Nigeria. This was the focus of investigative journalism workshop on criminal justice project organized by the Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center in Abuja. That is according to the report from Aliyu Tukur.
From illegal weapons trade to drug and human trafficking, Nigeria has had its own share of transnational crimes. To overcome these challenges, the Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center, CISLAC, is training media practitioners and civil society organizations in investigative journalism to equip them with skills that will help in implementing the Crime Just project.
We are hoping that journalists can sharpen their capacity for investigation so that they can unearth that thing that is not ordinary to the ordinary eye, that is not seen.
The project, which is in collaboration with the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, Interpol and other donors, is aimed at strengthening the capacity of the criminal justice sector institutions such as the police, drug law enforcement agency and the Federal High Court in order to investigate, prosecute and adjudicate on these transborder crimes.
We should like to call on security agents to always ensure that they carry out their lawful duties in accordance with the rule of law.
The government and the government institutions should also see CSOs as partners, as people who actually want to join them to actually make things better.
The training also focused on promoting the development of a dialogue policy among institutions with a view to facilitate periodic engagement with non-state actors that will help to have a better understanding of the challenges confronting the criminal justice system. In Abuja, Aliyu Tukur, NTA News.
30th of August every year is observed as the International Day of the Mason. It was initiated in 2011 following a United Nations resolution on the urgent need to address the challenges of bringing an end to the anxieties of families unaware of the fate of their loved ones. To this end, a project by the National Human Rights Commission and the International Committee of the Red Cross to establish a database of missing persons in Nigeria is the focus of this year's commemoration of the day. Dennis Ademuloye was there.
Categories of people such as the internally displaced who have been caught up in cases of insurgency, experts say have family members or are themselves victims of enforced or involuntary disappearances. There are, however, other cases of people who simply vanish off the face of the earth, arising from cases of arrests, detentions, abductions, or simply going for a walk, as narrated here by someone who has had first-hand knowledge of the traumatic experience of not knowing what has become of a loved one.
I was called by my sister to tell me that my father left home, he wanted to take a walk, and we never saw him again. The years went by. I don't know what happened to my father. What I do know is no one deserves not to have closure. No family deserves not to know.
Harrowing experiences such as these informed this government-initiated collaboration between the National Human Rights Commission and the International Committee of the Red Cross.
It is in recognition of this right that we are facilitating the establishment of a database of missing persons in Nigeria.
The right of families to know the fate of family member who goes missing is enshrined in international humanitarian and human rights law.
The project on the establishment of the database of missing persons was born out of the need to address this challenge of increasing numbers, since there is no formalized, standardized, and technology-enabled national structure to address the humanitarian consequences of the phenomenon across state and national borders.
Part of what the database then seeks to do is actually to show that we have not forgotten.
For the full purpose of this initiative to be achieved, experts advise that the project should not be solely concentrated in the northeast, but extended to other parts of the country, and it was stressed that there must be interagency cooperation, strong leverage on technology, human capacity building, and effective monitoring and evaluation. Dennis at Digunloye, NTA News.
In a related development, the law against recruitment, transportation, employment, or hiring out a child to do exploitative or injurious work hazardous to the child's physical, social, and psychological development should be enforced to serve as deterrent to erring parents or guardians. This came to the fore at the launch of a book titled The Plight of Street Children in Nigeria, organized by the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons. Lydia Odijiochi has that report.
11-year-old Emmanuel Joseph is one among hundreds, if not thousands, of children hawking on the streets of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja.
Who sent you to sell garments?
My mom, for my school fees.
It's good for children to sell things on the street. Okay, why do you think it's not good?
Because anything can happen to you.
This 16-year-old felt too embarrassed to disclose his identity. According to recent reports, this is the plight of more than 1.3 million children rendered homeless due to conflicts and socio-economic conditions. Statistics also indicate that more than 250 million children between the ages of 5 and 17 are already involved in one form of labor or another.
Street children syndrome is already a menace. Every part of the city you go to now, you see children walking along the road.
These findings and personal experience gave birth to this book, authored by Paul Naji.
This book tries as much as can to proffer solution to some of this problem and also see how we can also recommend a solution to this problem.
The moment you are part of the sustainability of your home at an early age, it makes you from the street.
According to the Child Rights Act, children's rights include child survival, development, and participation. Lydia Odijiochi, NTA News.
More on Nationwide as we now join Ibrahim in Maiduguri for more reports. Hello, Ibrahim, it's over to you.
Thank you, Ronke, and welcome to Maiduguri. Economic activities are at a standstill in most parts of southern Borno State following the collapse of the only major bridge along the axis in Briel by a local government due to heavy downpour, causing massive flooding. Abakar Mohamed Musa reports that the collapsed bridge is also among washout locations Federal Ministry of Power, Works and Housing directed immediate remedial works to be carried out on.
Heavy downpour from the higher grounds of the Biu Plateau caused rivers on the downstream Dad and Kowa Gombe axis to overflow their banks, washing off the road and parts of the bridge. The Brian Long Bridge in Bio local government connecting Borno with neighboring states of Gombe, Adamawa and Taraba has over the years enhanced socio-economic activities in the mostly agrarian communities of southern Borno. However, the condition of the bridge currently can best be described as alarming because it has cut off, thereby stopping movement of goods and services in addition to subjecting inhabitants on both sides of the divide to untold difficulty. Worried by the situation and plight of the people, Borno State Governor Kashim Shettima directed the Executive Chairman Borno Road Maintenance Agency Engineer Satomi Ahmed to ascertain the level of damage on the bridge with a view to commencing repairs immediately. With feasibility study conducted, work is expected to commence in earnest towards ensuring free flow of people and business activities, as well as connecting the rest of Borno with neighboring states in that axis. In Maiduguri, Abubakar Muhammad Musa, NTA News.
Barely few hours to suspension of continuous voter registration across the country by Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC), registration centers in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital, are experiencing large turnout of eligible voters. In some areas, INEC officials are being confronted with crowd management challenges as people struggle for the late registration to beat the deadline. Here are details of the update. When NTA News visited registration centers in Maiduguri metropolis, there was last-minute rush of eligible voters, some impatient to be registered. It is past 10 a.m. here at Bafoni Liberty 1 polling unit, and registration of voters has not started, which officials say is owing to absence of security operatives to control the crowd. Some eligible voters interviewed complained of late arrival of officials for the registration, centralization of registration at local government INEC offices and insufficient centers as causes of congestion.
Peace has been established here, so I have found my way back to my homeland. I came back. And there are a lot of people like me, and some people have not even gotten the chance to register because they were struggling to save their lives.
The resident electoral commissioner INEC Borno State, Mohammed Magaji Ibrahim, says it has created additional centers for densely populated areas and IDP camps, like this one at Bokolis, catering for displaced people of Abadam local government area.
The military, police, and the civil defense, they have been of great assistance to us. And in some cases, they normally give us their helicopters to go and do the registration.
The Commission says from April 2017 to date, it has registered more than 560,000, while this month alone, a total of 98,016 voters were registered. Permanent voter cards, PVCs, awaiting collection in Borno State stands at over 113,000, which can be claimed up to few days to 2019 elections. Some officials say they register between 100 to 200 eligible voters in spite of the influx. Returnees in liberated communities of Borno State have been enjoined to fully cooperate with security agencies by giving them useful information on the whereabouts of remnants of Boko Haram members and agents of the insurgents in their midst. This came up during inspection of ongoing rehabilitation work in Kareto town of Mobile local government, preparatory to the return of IDPs. Abubakar Mohamed Musa reports.
While inspecting the ongoing reconstruction work on Kareto Central Primary School and the Comprehensive Health Center, which is also supported by Victim Support Fund, Professor Babagana Umar Zulum said the only way to put an end to the incessant attacks by Boko Haram is for the people to rise up to the challenge.
Kareto has been without school for the last 6 or 7 years. The town is back now, so we want to ensure that the school is now in break. And on the resumption of academic activities for the 2018-2019 session, we want to ensure that normal academic activities in these schools should resume.
And call on parents to enroll their works into school. At the Comprehensive Health Center Kareto, the Commissioner said being the only health facility that serves Kareto and other adjoining towns and villages, the center will be equipped with hospitals' consumables to make it effective and efficient in healthcare delivery services. In Maiduguri, Abubakar Muhammad Musa, NTA News.
Thank you for stopping by. In Maiduguri is back to Ronke in Abuja.
Thank you, Ibrahim. Another break beckons now. More reports when we come back. Glad to know you are still watching Nationwide on NTA Network Service. The federal government has been urged to strengthen and protect institutions that promote public-private partnership to reduce infrastructural deficit in the country. Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Dr. Wale Babalakin, said this at the 8th Fellowship Conferment Lecture of the Nigerian Society of Engineers in Abuja. John Yaku has the report.
Dr. Babalakin, in the lecture titled Constraints of Implementing Infrastructure Projects Through Public-Private Partnership, noted that government alone cannot garner enough resources to meet the infrastructural needs of the country. Hence, the PPP strategy becomes a necessity. He identified some of the challenges of public-private partnership, like violation of agreements, change of government policies, and legal tussles, among other factors, which discourage partnership for development.
The orders of arbitral panels and courts must be obeyed promptly. Enforcing court orders is not discretionary, it is compulsory. This is very crucial if we are going to commence the journey to become a serious player in the world of project infrastructure.
The Nigerian Society of Engineers believe that this strategy is working in other countries and Nigeria cannot be an exception.
Even in Africa, where huge successes have been recorded in toll roads, hospitals, reservation parks, airports, etc.
28 members were conferred with Fellowship of the Society during the event.
It's quite fulfilling. It will now give me more energy to drive on. Something gladdening to the heart.
The Nigerian Society of Engineers has over 48,000 members in the country, out of which 1,988 have been elevated to the fellowship grade at its 60th anniversary. In Abuja, John Yaku, NTA News.
The Embassy of Israel is to conduct the maiden edition of the National Old Testament Bible Quiz in Nigeria. Bukola da Silva reports that the Israeli Deputy Head of Mission in Nigeria, Nadav Koren, at a media briefing said the quiz competition is part of yearly activities to commemorate the activities and the anniversaries of the State of Israel.
According to Mr. Koren, the quiz was instituted by the first Israeli Prime Minister, David Ben-Gurion, in 1958 and has spread to many countries since then. The competition is organized in conjunction with the Israel Ministry of Education Christians United for Israel.
The Old Testament Bible Contest will commence in all states of the Federation of Nigeria in September 2018. This competition is open to all candidates above the age of 18.
Executive Secretary, Christians United for Israel, Reverend Samson Ozovehe, says all hands will be on deck to actualize the project, as it is a veritable tool to build cultural bridges between Nigerians and Israelis.
It's an opportunity to demonstrate our passion and to stand for what we believe in. This historic Bible competition, we're sure to do all that is possible, bringing on board all the relevant stakeholders to achieve the desired objective.
The theme of this competition is living peacefully in the promised land. In Abuja, Bukola da Silva, NTA News.
The National Park Service of Nigeria, as part of its desire to promote ecotourism and academic research, is partnering the Federal University Wukari Taraba State. A statement by the media assistant to the Conservator General of the National Park Service, Yakubu Zul, says both the Vice Chancellor, Professor Abubakar Kundere, and the Conservator General of the National Parks, Ibrahim Goni, agreed that the Federal University Wukari will now use the national parks as field laboratories for students studying natural science. The Conservator General of the parks, Ibrahim Goni, also called on practitioners of natural science to take advantage of the natural endowment to solve local problems as well as promote ecotourism. Two acclaimed men of God have been arrested by the men of the Ogun State Command of the Nigeria Police. The Commissioner of Police, who led journalists to the Ifo area, Ogun State, advised the general public to be mindful of whom they associate with. Lukman Adefeso report is here presented.
It was the stench from the uncompleted building at Musafejo Adeliye area of Abule Ijoko in Ifa local government area that attracted residents to the area, where it was discovered that a mutilated body was found. This led to the arrest of one prophet, Olushola Akindele, who confessed to have killed the purported girlfriend in cold blood for no just cause.
We not discuss with anybody. I not discuss with anybody. I not use anything inside that.
What do you want to use it at the head and the hand for?
I know even use only the finger.
His accomplice, also a pastor in whose church premises the remains of the deceased buried, also confessed to have assisted his pastor suspect in burying the body.
I saw the head. I fear. He said, don't shout. If I shout, if police come, she cannot carry him.
The State Commissioner of Police, Ahmed Ilyasu, described the act as barbaric and assured that the perpetrators will face the wrath of the law.
We are committed to dealing with crime and criminality. We are committed to the peace and peaceful coexistence of this state as one of the most peaceful states.
He appealed to residents to continue to provide useful information to the police so as to nip crime in the bud.
And away from crime, as efforts targeted at saving the Lake Chad continue, stakeholders are meeting in Abuja to adopt a possible roadmap from technical experts. At an extraordinary session of Council of Ministers of the Lake Chad Basin Commission, Minister of Water Resources Suleiman Adamu said efforts at restoring the lake have been successful and have impacted the livelihood of member countries. Oyeyemi Ajayi reports.
The scarcity of water, the most visible outcome of the drying Lake Chad, as well as violent extremism, have negatively affected the means of livelihood of people resident along the lake. But the narrative is changing as the Lake Chad Basin Commission keeps working on restoring the Lake Chad and the development of the region with a stabilization strategy for countries affected by Boko Haram insurgency. Technical experts from member states of Cameroon, Niger, Nigeria, the Central African Republic, Chad and Libya have been meeting in Abuja and deliberated on a prepared roadmap as well as a comprehensive program of action to save the lake from extinction. Nigeria's Minister of Water Resources, Suleiman Adamu, who is also the chairman of the Lakes Council of Ministers, said the federal government will keep embracing commitments in improving the living conditions and socio-economic development of the people along the basin.
Permit me also to thank the African Union and the LCBC for choosing Nigeria as the venue for the ministerial validation of a regional stabilization strategy for areas affected by Boko Haram, which has also provided an opportunity for the holding of this extraordinary session.
The Executive Secretary of the Lake Chad Basin Commission throws light on some initiatives related to climate change, security and stabilization while calling for focus
on the need to strengthen security around the lake. I am glad to reassure you that the MNJTF has made considerable progress in that direction. The capabilities of Boko Haram elements have continued to be degraded by both the MNJTF and the national operations of the affected countries.
He further suggested serious dedication of resources if member countries and the entire world are to end the disaster. In Abuja, Oyeyemi Ajayi, NTA News.
Let's catch up with some foreign stories with Obiageli Ugoke as our guide.
Hello and welcome. We thank you for joining us. South Sudanese rebels have approved a peace deal with Juba expected to be formally signed at a summit of regional leaders. Sudan's Foreign Minister Al-Duduri Mohamed Ahmed, who is mediating the negotiations, said rebels had signed a key document aimed at ending the country's devastating 5-year civil war. The final agreement of the peace deal will be signed at the East African Regional Bloc and the Intergovernmental Authority on Development.
Well, let's quickly catch up with the weather prospect for Saturday. And that is how we end the Nationwide today. We thank you for watching. Join us on Nationwide again on Monday. And remember to be part of the network news at 9 and NT International News at 7. I am Ronke Kolawole.